Alright guys, so I am out ice fishing on Lewis and Clark Bay, just outside of the opening to the bay here, and I went out here the other day and had some good luck catching some big pike. So I came out here today. It's very cold. I think the temperature when I left was like -24 or something like that. So I just have literally the two rods and the heater's going on full blast. I only had a little bit of time, so I've been out here for about an hour or so at this point in time. But it's getting to be about the time that the pike start biting. Well, I'm a little bit past, but I hook up here and things are going to go well. Currently, I'm using a half-ounce bucktail jig with a half piece of smelt attached to it, and that seems to do the trick lately these days. A little bit ago before this trip, I'd gone out like a couple days before and managed a couple of nice big pike on rattle traps and stuff. But the biggest one, a 20-pounder, Whopper Club, North Dakota, came in on this exact same rod and reel setup. So 8-pound test. There's a 60-pound test, Berkley Big Game mono leader on the end, which I have found to work fairly well for these big fish. I haven't had one bite through, so that's been working out great. She's really ripping some drag. There's no audio because the GoPro that I'm using is in like a waterproof case and doesn't really capture sound, but that's okay, you get to hear me. The hook is, since it's a buckshot, it only has one hook, and I don't have a stinger hook or anything like that on it, but I've really enjoyed this so far because it's so cold. I did lose one earlier because of it, I think, only having one hook. But because it's so cold, I don't really like to deal with the hook, and I don't like to keep the fish out of the water any longer than I have to if they're a big one, if they're one I want to release. So having the singular hook has been really nice. You'll get a look at the fish here, right there underneath the heater. You should be able to see it swim off. Yeah, that was my first look at the fish too. So I tried to set up my ice house on some really clear ice to try and allow us to see the fish, but that didn't quite work out because drilling holes and everything like that, and things were freezing up so fast. But you should be able to see a little bit. Almost had it there. My heater there, you're going to see me move it in just a little bit. I kind of had an issue where the fish splash a lot, and then it splashes on my coils, and I'm worried about damaging it, so you'll see me move that and kind of worry about that in a little bit. But yeah, I'll come back in when we get closer to the end. I almost had it there, but I decided not to reach in for it. I had to go in a couple of times for one a few days ago, and my hand got pretty cold, so I'm trying to avoid that since I'm on my own today. But I saw the hook set. I know it's a good hook set, and I know I can get the head up here, so it should come up here fairly quickly. Even using such light pound test line and everything, I've found it to work out pretty well as long as you have the drag set. They go on runs and everything, but yeah, look at that mouth. That's awesome. This is a nice fish. And see, look at that. The hook just comes right out, basically. Like, that's so much nicer than dealing with treble hooks. And that's a nice fish. I get the measurement on it. It's 15 pounds, good length, big old head like that. It is a nice looking fish. I was pretty excited about it. It was the only one I caught today. I missed one earlier, and I didn't have a lot of time, and it was really cold. I could only fish the 2 holes, but I was pretty pumped about this fish. Normally I have a carpet that I lay him down on, but I hadn't set it up today because it was so cold. I feel kind of bad because now she kind of gets to deal with being right on the ice, but problems with only being by myself. But I like to keep the smaller fish. Like, I like to keep in the, well, smaller is relative term. I like to keep the 5 to 8 pound range, sometimes 10 pound range if I'm feeling ambitious. So a bigger one like this in the 15 pound range, I'm not really interested in keeping. I more or less just enjoy the catching of it and the really just the fun of having such a big fish out on the ice. But she gets a good measurement, and she'll go back in the hole real quick here, and man, look at the fat that fish is. They've been eating a lot. The ones I've cleaned lately are just full of smelt and these little glass minnows and things. And the big ones seem to really be liking the smelt. But hard to beat that. A nice easy release and back down the hole. So yeah, this is at Lewis and Clark, and smelt seemed to be the trick. I'll be hopefully going back out again tomorrow and try to catch some more.